What's up, everybody? Sorry, I had to jump off because my daughter was calling me. Then my husband started calling me, and I'm like, wait, they both calling me at the same time. And didn't neither one of them want nothing. Well, my daughter just gave her dog shots, so she was emotional. Hi, beautiful people. Hey, Cordell. Hi, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. So let me just say real quick, I'm gonna get the formalities out of the way. Before I jumped off the live, we were talking about the debate, right? And this ain't about to be a political conversation because I've said, yes, I'll give y'all a snippet of 5 miles to empty before I get off the live. Wait, 5 miles to empty? That's the one. Ooh, child. Anyway, we watched the debate, right? The one thing I took away from that, I don't get into the political stuff. I say that for my friend Christine Beatty, who is super educated in politics. I am not. I could tell you about music. I could tell you about television. I could tell you about reality TV. I like that question. Why didn't Brownstone get on the Queens of R&B tour? You guys should watch the Funky Deneva interview if you have not. We talk about a lot regarding all of that, and I addressed that in that interview. Well, it's not like I addressed it that serious. Mona reached out to Brownstone and just, the divine order. We'll hopefully, at some point, either the next one or whatever. But like I said, I'm working on something really cool with R&B Divas because I feel like there's room out there for both the Queens of R&B tours and the R&B Divas tour. So we're definitely working on that. But let me say this real quick because I think it's very important for me to say it because I've been thinking about it. I kind of lost a little bit of sleep last night. Actually, I lost some sleep last night because somebody sent me a link telling me that this Down in the Valley docuseries that they're doing, I guess, to sort of show you how P-Valley was created. Or I don't know if that's what the purpose of it is or what, but someone sent me something saying that it debuts tonight. So it kind of just knocked me off my square because I was like, oh, here we go. I had to mentally prepare. I thought I had another week. It was supposed to debut next week because I had it marked on my calendars. Down in the Valley, y'all. Had it marked on my calendars because I had to mentally prepare myself for the influx of P-Valley and Down in the Valley. And here we go. Every year I got mentally prepared for it. And I talk really candidly about it in my interview with Funky Deneva. So please, you guys, if you have not seen it, go to youtube.com/@funkydeneva. And it's a 3-part interview. And it was fun and honest and real. But let me get to this because I keep diverting. So watch the debate. I did, between hearing about P-Valley and really being serious about my thoughts and feelings on the debate. It just, the truth is I felt kind of nervous and I felt a lot of anxiety and angst. And it didn't have really a whole lot to do with either of the candidates. It was more about how we looked as a country to people who don't like us, right? Because at the end of the day, while there are many of us within the country who don't like each other, the bigger, more real threat is the people who are not in this country or who are in this country who don't like our fucking asses. Black, white, Chinese, whatever. Americans. And I felt like it was like a real vulnerable time for us. And I love my country. It's a lot of stuff that needs to be changed about, this country, but we've made a lot of progress. And I really think Black people have really got to come out of the spirit of living in the trauma and the angst and the lack of equality of yesteryear, right? I think we really need to make a conscious effort to acknowledge the positive changes that have been made in America, the opportunities that we have. I'm telling y'all, Monique Rodriguez and Mael Organics, in a conversation, and it wasn't even a conversation, she addressed the women that she invited to this absolutely beautiful, stunning, good energy, good vibrations celebration of 10 years. Matter of fact, I used her. Okay, that's a bad representation, but I did swirl my baby hairs with her edge control. And I used her curl product. But anyway, I'm all over the place. What she said to me what she said to us, I felt like she was speaking to me, don't we always? Isn't that what it's all about? What she said in her address to the women who attended the dinner, I think she invited 100 women. And I was so blessed. Aaron and I were so grateful to be on that list. But she talked about building her business from the bottom up, no pun intended. And she talked about how she's able to now have her business acquired at a number that made history. That's her business. I'm going to let her tell it. And she also talked about people having something to say about the fact that she sold her business. Now, I'm a big advocate of ownership, especially in entertainment and media, because unlike a product that has to be made or distributed, intellectual properties are a little different. I think you should always have some part of ownership of the intellectual properties that you create, because for generations and generations and generations, that will generate revenue for you, right? And for your family or your charity or whatever. But her business was acquired. She was paid really well. And she said something that really stuck with me. She was like, people were like, oh, you didn't pass that down to your kids. And she said, this was my dream. My children will have their own dreams. But because of my dream, they're able to pursue their dreams. So it wasn't so much about her saying, hey, you're going to be in the hair business because this business I started and da-da-da-da. It was more like, hey, mom has been able to do this. Dad has been able to do this. We've been able to provide for you, and we want you to pursue your dreams and your goals. And it really put a lot in perspective for me. And it really made me question what things I maybe was holding on to too tight. It's a little different in my situation because, like I said, intellectual properties are a little different. But from a spiritual place, right, holding on to hope that your kids and your little cousins and your nephews and your nieces and just the kids in the community will preserve a legacy that you created, or continue to grow a legacy that you created. It's good in theory, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. And in our community, we get so caught up in draconian, antiquated, or whatever you old school thinking. Hi, thank you. I'm gonna get into that, y'all. I'm gonna talk about that interview too. I don't want to get on a rambling tangent, but we get caught up in this thinking that things should stay a certain way, or things should go a certain way, and we want to control how things go when we're no longer here, right? And one thing I realized is that as much as we like unity and togetherness and community, we are on this journey and on this walk alone. And we have to make decisions that work for us as individuals and that make us happy and that make us feel content in this life that we're living. And just hope that by living your best life, by creating businesses and things that afford your family the opportunity to pursue their best life and their things, like you hope that that's how it goes. And as I look at this election, I'm reeling it on in. We have historically felt like we had to do things a certain way because that's just how it's been done. Now they listen. The Japanese folks have it right somewhere, because my voice changed. What happened? People had the same problem with Lisa Price and Carol's daughter. People need to understand the type of recognition. Man, listen, it's crazy. So, okay, let me complete my thought, because that's why I'm trying not to read y'all's comments. But somebody said something changed with my voice. Did I turn to a character? Somebody messing around? Do I sound regular? Or what? Because we'll be knowing. Folks be playing games. Let me stop talking until somebody tell me. Am I talking regular? Or is there some kind of audio effect on my voice? Oh, it's back? Okay, that's crazy. So we get caught up in this thinking of we have to react a certain way to elections. We got to react a certain way to... Let me tell y'all what I know and what this case has taught me. Okay, thank you. Let me tell y'all what I know and what this case has taught me. The presidential elections are important, But local elections, baby. We can't get so caught up in just, I understand 100% that yes, we need a strong presidential campaign and all that other stuff, and Democrats are Democrats and Republicans are Republicans. But I think that based on what we saw yesterday, and this is the whole long-winded ass reason why I kind of went on a tangent about Monique and passing down her legacy and this and that, and we've got to stop just following traditional methods of healing. I'm distracted. And more important, locally. Hopefully my voice, I don't know what's going on with my voice. People keep saying something's going on with my voice. Somebody else let me know if something comes up, because this could be somebody who's just whatever. But local elections are important. And I don't know what we're going to do about what we saw last night. I have no idea. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what the decisions are. I do know that there are a lot of women who are capable, of really helping to heal this country. I think if that is the one thing we've never tried, right? Thank y'all. If that is the one thing that we've never tried is a woman president, if that's the one thing that we've never seen, why are we concerned that it's a woman? Why are you concerned that she's black? Why are you concerned that, she was tough on crime? And give me a break. We really are at a place. And again, it's all wishful thinking. I know people under my Michelle Obama post, they like, girl, stop it. Don't even try it. It'll never happen. And I completely, well, not completely, but I can imagine why she would never, Michelle Obama would never. But I just really want, Gretchen Whitmer has done amazing things in the state of Michigan. I voted for Hillary Clinton, period. I ain't gonna hold you up. I don't know what happened, but I feel like without us as a country really investing in this process and really not being frustrated with it and checking out because we don't understand it, that debate should have really, really woke a lot of people up and gave a lot of people reason to be concerned. Because that's right, Soror. Big Gretch, VP, whatever. She could be VP. That's what I said. I had Kamala, Hillary, Michelle, and Gretchen. Any one of them. And that's not to disrespect our president, because I think he has the greatest of intentions for America. I do. Far greater than others, right? And I understand what people see when they look at the Republican candidate. I understand what people see. And I think that form of power and masculinity and, I think that gives people a sense of security that is not always as real as it appears, right? Because you need thinkers. When I look at leaders of other countries, I see people who are constantly thinking and steady and move in silence, or at least appear to. And let me stop, because I don't know enough about it, and I'm not going to get into no political debate with y'all. We had one last night, and that was enough to whenever we got to have another one. But I would encourage everybody to not be discouraged, as easy as it is for us to be discouraged. And I hope that more people get involved, because at the political level, at the local level, when you start wondering why your nephew is getting sentenced big time, when you start wondering why people go to court, and what happened with the Fearless Fund is a travesty. And if you don't know what happened with the Fearless Fund, please look it up. Here's a woman who was actually out here giving opportunities to women of color to fund. We are the most founded and least funded, meaning we're setting up businesses and putting together businesses left and right, and we're not getting funded by anyone. So she decided that she was going to create a fund specifically, and these aren't all the details. Please go to Fearless Fund's page, get the real actual details. This is me paraphrasing, but she was out here really trying to help Black women start and create their businesses and giving money and funding these Black-owned businesses, and they shut her down. And the appeals court was like, no, you can't do this. And it's crazy to me because we get abused at every corner in every industry. We get mistreated all the time. So let me get into my interview with the doll. Y'all vote. 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 And don't feel like you have to just vote all the same way all the time. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, educate yourself. And don't be afraid of women in politics in the most powerful position in the United States of America. Because for as long as we've had presidents, for 46 terms, baby, we've had men running the country. Why can't we have a shot with a woman? Especially when these women have been in the White House and they understand how it goes. This is not some, whatever, I'm getting too political. You guys, we're going to get She Speaks Live back. We're going to really talk about what we as a community can do to become more educated in this political process. Because if we do not become more involved, it will be to our detriment one way or the other. Okay, period. So let's talk about Funky Deneva. Y'all know what? I have, we're the only progressive nation in the world that hasn't had a woman president. I mean, how progressive are we if we haven't had a woman president? I mean, technology isn't the only thing that makes you progressive. Money and power. Okay, there I go. So we gotta put this on the Nights with Nikki. They're not willing to entertain a woman president, and it's y'all drawing me back into this. So obviously that's something y'all still want to talk about. I don't think they are. I don't think they're willing to entertain it, but I think we need to redefine who they is. I think we have not been they for long enough. You feel me? If they are always different people who are invested in the process, then we have to become them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? We have to become as involved politically, as educated and informed politically. And I do have to say this. I was about to move on to Funky Deneva, but y'all fucking asses brought me back to this political thing that I don't know shit about, but I'm just speaking from my heart, right? And maybe that's the key. But Hill Harper is running for Senate in Michigan. We just got the first ever Black Supreme Court justice in Michigan. When Black people are running for political office, if you're not absolutely certain, right, that there is something about this individual that doesn't deserve the same opportunities that somebody who is non-Black, who has probably done far worse, deserves, you got to really check yourself. Because we go so hard about this Kamala and Hill Harper and this one and that one and the third one and Hillary and this and that. But we allow men to be on trial for things that, felonies, to extend terms that, quite honestly, we wonder whether or not they, before we allow a woman to become president. That is going to be, I don't like to, I understand the power of words, so I had to be real careful about it. But there's a reason we have the Statue of Liberty, and she is a woman. That is why America is a woman, because that is what's going to save this mother. Period. In order to have a family unit, in order to have anything healthy and whole and complete, it takes men and women. Period. And that includes in the highest office of the land. And it's time for us to really become more involved and more educated and more informed so that we understand the steps that we can take in a peaceful, legal, legitimate way. Because we've informed ourselves. So we're gonna have a whole conversation about this. For those political beginners like myself. And I'll invite some really smart people like Christine Beatty and Kimberly Latrice. And, you know, it's a lot of folks out there who know much better than I do. All right, so let's talk about, hey, Queen, seeing your interview with Funky Deneva and have a better understanding of you as a person. I salute you, Queen, for standing up for Black women. Thank you. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm gonna start ignoring the comments about the politics and talk about the Funky Deneva thing because, guys, it was, I don't get geeked up about a lot of shit. I don't work with Michael Jackson. I don't work with Todd Perry. I don't work with Queen Latifah. I don't get geeked up about a lot of shit. But that conversation with Funky Deneva actually had me feeling kind of geeked up. I was like, and not just the conversation with him, seeing my people who I love so much, even though y'all get on my nerves with the bullshit sometimes, because y'all be on that bullshit. And I'm just, you know, just assuming that you know something that you weren't actually there for, right? I appreciate you guys being there for the interview, and I appreciate it resonating. It may not resonate with everybody, and trust me, P-Valley's going to send their trolls out to put stuff in the comments, I'm sure. Okay, I probably shouldn't have said that because they probably won't. But it felt so good to see that people, because I usually will stay out of the comments, and then if I get in them, then I go deep into them, and I just got to shut. Like, y'all be taking Instagram off my phone sometimes because I'll be like, okay, stop. But I do feel really grateful that people are realizing that I'm not here to hurt not an R&B diva nowhere. I'm not here to hurt a P-Valley nowhere. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to grow myself and become a better woman and better human being and create opportunities for us to thrive as people of color, period, because we don't have enough of them. So when Funky Deneva agreed to sit down and have a conversation, that was really important. Two conversations that were really important for me was having the conversation with Monifa, because Monifa and I were really, really good friends, and R&B divas really almost destroyed our sisterhood and our friendship, like forever. Like, I was convinced I was just done forever with Mo, you know, and I thank God that she kept in touch with me and she kept reaching out, and, you know, we're able now to we had the conversation I felt like we needed to have. So that's on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's also on WIRFTV.com, which is a streaming platform, so you can watch the whole thing there. But Mo and I almost just didn't make it as friends ever again. And we were the type, you know, in the group of the tightest in the whole situation. So Mo and I needed to have a conversation. I'm still wide open to a conversation with Selena. Although, you know, we've apologized to each other in our way. And I don't have any issues with her. And hopefully she has no issues with me. But Q. Funky Deneva was another person that I just absolutely had to have a conversation with. It was so important for us to sit down and really talk, because I like him. I grew to really like him as a person and understand more him as a person, right? But he also was like the bane of my existence during the time on R&B Divas, because he just, you know, especially in the early days, honey, my hair is laid with the red lipstick. He ate my ass up every single week. And I dreaded each week because I was like, here this month, he gone. So, and that was before I kind of just realized that, baby, you could be Michael Jordan and one day the people still gonna talk shit about you. You could be Michael Jackson and one day people still gonna talk shit about you. So I had to grow up and realize that what people think of me is far less important than what I think of myself, and the people who love me and care about me think about me. But as an entertainer and a brand and business owner, and I've seen the impact of people not liking me on my career. I've been stuck at 193,000 Instagram followers for 2.5 years because I understand the impact and the power of my words. And I understand that God has, put me in a position to really do more than just sing, and hopefully to really reach certain people, right? And I thank God that, Q was one of those people who was really objective. And, I say this, I'm going to answer some of these questions in a minute too. I say this as humbly as I possibly can. I am truly grateful when someone is not accepting some form of gratuity to keep the truth from the people. Because there's so many people out here taking a bag to perpetuate a narrative for ratings. I don't want to piss this person off. I don't want to say that. And when you're going through something as horrible and traumatic and foul as what my family has been going through, when we're struggling to keep our home, when we're struggling to make sure that things are taken care of because we're fighting a multi-billion-dollar company that will never run out of money, all you have are people who are willing to accept, or not just accept, who are willing to listen to your truth. That is all you have. It's people who are willing to listen to your truth. And hopefully these people learn from it and they get something from it, because it's not, it's so difficult when you are fighting someone who has endless, not just money, but relationships everywhere. You know what the hardest thing for me to watch is? The hardest thing for me to watch is people that I think or thought loved and trusted and cared about me going extra hard on the high fives and the congratulations to the people over at P-Valley. And I understand, I get, I'm not one of those people who needs anybody to stand with me. I'm always grateful when people do. I will stand out there by my damn self. I don't need anybody to be like, yeah, and you took my. But when I see people really close to me, not people you know in passing, but people who have been intimately close with me, worked with me, created with me, partnered with me on things, validating something that has caused me and my family so much trauma and so much hardship. I can't wait until the opportunity to go before this panel and share my story. Now, whether or not it ends with some huge financial judgment or whatever, hey, it is what it is. But the fact that I'm going to have the opportunity to go before a panel of 3, and hopefully I get 3, well, I'm sure I'll get there. Let me just be quiet about that. But yeah, 3 judges in appeal, and just finally have a chance to say, this is what happened. This is what it is. I can't wait for all of those people to feel like Funky Deneva said, which I had to eat my words. Now, most of the time in those instances, people are it's just loyalty and controlling people, opportunity controlling people's loyalty. There's a lot of that out here in the entertainment industry. Opportunity controls a lot of motherfuckers' loyalty. Ooh, I'm sorry, forgive me for that word. I shouldn't have used it. Lord God, forgive me, right? Opportunity controls a lot of people's loyalty, and I understand that. But I just love and appreciate when someone, and Q did that for me. It wasn't like an agenda. I didn't pre-approve no questions. I don't do that for interviews. Just ask me what you got to ask me. If I don't want to answer it, I'm not going to answer it. And it's going to piss people off. It's going to piss off some people. The Black Gums Knock Me SpongeBob Brigade is going to come flying in here, and the trolls for P-Valley and the bots and all that other shit. It's going to definitely agitate the demons of certain people. But I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to share on such a huge platform. And the response is overwhelmingly positive from the real people, right? And I'm just, when you have to prepare yourself every summer for the last 4 years, and maybe for a lifetime going forward, to watch something that you created continue to flourish and to thrive and to try to legitimize what I believe is intellectual property theft. I believe that in my heart. That's why we're in court trying to prove it. I'm not saying it is for sure. I'm just saying that's what I believe. And anybody who goes to WIRFTV.com and watches the comparisons would probably agree. But it's so hard to watch this all the time, especially knowing how much it's prevented me from being able to grow my business and to grow my family's wealth. Y'all have no idea. They suing me for $1 million because the judge said there were no similarities. So they're like, okay, well, pay us our legal fees. Plus, I have my own $1 million in legal fees. And every single solitary day, I wake up to a bill from it. Every day. You know you owe $1 million over here. So what you go? Yeah, that's the truth of the reality of my existence. For the last 4 years, we have been squozing to the point of, baby, listen, y'all better be glad I respect my husband and my family and their privacy and the fact they ain't all in this business, because y'all have no idea. We're not running around here talking about how fantastic life is over here financially, because we've invested everything we have in protecting our intellectual property right. Because you know what? When you look at Eric Monty and what happened to him with Good Times, right? $50 years ago, plus, this man created a show that is still releasing content today. He got a whole family with a granddaughter and great grandkids. And like I said, the NAACP, thank God, finally gave that man his flowers and his awards. When you think about Sophia Stewart and The Matrix, right? When you think about all of these incredible Black creators, we've all had to just sit back and live our lives, watching other people celebrate it for our blood, sweat, and tears. And you know why? Because we don't have billions of dollars to fight these motherfuckers back. All we got is y'all, the people. All we have are the people brave enough, Q and Jasmine Brand, with the platforms that the people watch and pay attention to get the word out that this happened. And it happens all the time, you know? And the truth is, if more people cared and if more people put the word out and less people was so fucking dancing. Oh, sorry, I had to stop. Please forgive me for the profanity. I'm trying to do better. In Jesus' name, amen. But if more people paid more attention and stood by creatives who have been robbed of their preeminent business assets for years, then less of it would happen. We would have more resources to pour into our community. We would have more financial resources out there that we could actually pass down from one generation to the next. Our kids would be more educated. Our kids would have more opportunities. The playing field would be more level. Black people make the most money in sports and entertainment and media, right? And now the way media is going, it's becoming less and less opportunity out there. Well, more and more, because the need for content has only grown. But we don't own it. And that's what I meant in that interview with Funky Deneva when I said, does Katori, I don't know, does she own or co-own P-Valley? Does 50 Cent own or co-own Power? That's not about shade. It's about educating the people and understanding that here you have a company that has all of these really incredible, shows created by Black people, telling Black stories about Black experiences. And the question is, how many Black people have ownership of those stories? And here's a Black woman. I think Tyler Perry may be the one and only. If maybe there's some more, I don't know. But are there enough is the question. And if I came in and I pitched Auntie Burlesque, you can't come up with Uncle Clifford after I leave. if I came in and I pitched a show getting picked up because of, a casino coming in to take over a club, because that actually happened in my hometown of Detroit, you can't later go and, like, after you've seen that, create something that's about a casino coming to take over a club. If I have a character who wears a goatee and a fedora, smokes a cigar, and carries a flask, who's trying to take over the club and calls the owner a freak, you can't have a character with a goatee and a fedora and a cigar and a flask who calls the owner a freak and tell me that they're not similar enough to go to trial, unless you got way more money than me. Because let me tell y'all something. If I had more money, I would have fought this going to LA. If I had more money, more than $1 million that I had to pay my attorneys, that I have to pay them, I would have stopped it. I would have did my best to try to prevent this from going to LA. But you got to pick and choose what you could pay for. If I had a lot of money, if I was $1 billion company, I would hire the judicial clerk who worked for the judge to work for my law firm, which is perfectly legal, so I have an advantage. If I had a whole lot of money, when I got that stuff that I got in discovery and I went through and I looked at it, I would have inquired more. I would have asked more questions. I would have fought for more time for discovery than 60 days when a lot of people have a year. If I had more money, I would have fought to not have the depositions redacted. I would have fought to say, no, the people need to know what the CEO said, and the people need to know what Tori said, and what this one said, Nico. The people need to know what they said. If I had more money to fight for that, if I had billions. But I did not, and I do not. So I have to rely on people, unlike Tamron Hall, who every chance she gets, she's praising P-Valley, but a black woman comes on her show to promote her show, and she's talking about some similarities on something that isn't even something that's filed in the litigation in the public lawsuit. But you call this lady out about similarities, but you had these people on here 11 times, and never once does the well, what about this? Or taking the time to look at it. See, those moments are important to women in entertainment and media who have been victims of intellectual property theft, and in business in general. Those moments are important when there is a black woman who can have you come on and talk about your experience that is a legitimate, because you're going to review the puffy shit. You're going to review the case that Lizzo got. You're going to review all the other shit, but you're not going to review mine, because I'm a loudmouth who defends myself and my intellectual properties, because I come up with good shit that people think they can just take away from me and have me not respond to it. Or because corporate tie, what is it? What is it that prevents us, our people, from caring enough about situations like Eric Monty and Sophia Stewart and Nikki Gilbert and the countless others who don't have SAG after to march with them? The countless other writers and creators and producers, and you don't give a shit about musicians not getting paid unless Puffy's name is attached to it. Then everybody's on camera and on TV talking about the lack of equity. You didn't care about Cassie until you saw the video. But at least that initial lawsuit got a whole lot of public attention. Here I am, a woman who wrote an absolutely amazing story, a love story to my hometown 20 years ago, that has gone on to make potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. Someone who could have followed in the footsteps and still, well, that's all relative, because I don't want to follow nobody's footsteps. I'm a trailblazer. But someone who was inspired by an actual prototype of what happens when black people are allowed, because that's what it is, it's allowed, unless you got billions of dollars to fight their asses, and when we're allowed to have ownership of the intellectual preeminent business assets that we create, we can become like Tyler Perry. We could become like Oprah Winfrey. We could become like Byron Allen. But you can't become that now in the authentic, organic way by creating something amazing that creates billions of dollars. You gotta just come up with a couple million to defend that property, because the judicial system allows he or she who has the most money to file as many motions as they need to file, to drag it out as long as they need to drag it out. And it is so unfair. And it is so disrespectful, unconscionable. But because I know that no matter what happens going forward, the universe works in a way that doesn't care about laws. What is Cena Faire? Where does Cena? There's something called Cena Faire. I got to deviate. There's something that they keep referencing. Let me take a sip of water so I can reel it in. And you know, that's the fucked up shit. You can't just get in here and be like, because then, you know. But there's something called scenes of Faire. And that's like a way, it appears to me, for people to get away with a lot of foul shit. And basically what that means is your story isn't original because, you know, that's what happens in any situation. I mean, dancers would have a casino and gentrification and the characters would be dressed alike and they would carry a red suit. Like, it's crazy to me. And what's really extra crazy to me and just kind of just makes my blood boil, this is the pre-show for Down in the Valley that debuts tonight on Stars. What makes my blood boil is the fact that they're not denying they had access to my script, like I said in the Funky Deneva interview. They're not denying, confirming or denying, but they're definitely down. You know, we're not saying that we didn't have access. We're saying this doesn't need to go to a jury. Since 2020, when this shit started, we just figured it out 6 months ago that it didn't need to go to a jury. After we have leveraged everything we have. And the reason it doesn't need to go to a jury is because their character's non-binary and gender fluid, which weren't even words when I wrote this script. We called them drag queens and transsexuals. That's what we called them because we didn't know no better. You telling me that a play that is 2 hours long mentioning the main plot about a casino is not the main plot, and that Detroit is upscale in Mississippi down in the valley. And then you create a docuseries that's airing tonight so you can try to further justify where this all came from. This isn't about strippers. This is not about strippers. Of course, strippers are seen in Faire. This is about a story of gentrification, homophobia, 5 women in their struggles, toxic parents. The beginning, the middle, the end is exactly the same. And all I have ever asked is for an opportunity to go before a jury. And I've been denied that opportunity, and I'm appealing that. And I was denied the opportunity because, and in my expert report, that's the craziest thing in the world to me. The fact that they didn't hire an expert, I did. They didn't hire an expert, I did. My experts, and I didn't talk to him. That's not what you do. You don't hire an expert so he can geek you up into spending more money. You hire an expert so he can be like, you really tripping and you need to go on ahead and wrap this shit up because this ain't the same. Or you're absolutely right. You should stay on track. I've seen a lot of these. I've been doing these for 30 years and there's no way there could be a P-Valley without an SKC, which is what my expert of 30 years said. And that got thrown out because the judge decided that he knew better and he didn't see similarities. And I have to pretend like that's not devastating because I don't want to piss off a system that allows a man who is right now on trial for some crazy shit to run for president of the United States of America. But I got to shut my black ass up. I can't speak openly and honestly about how devastating it is to lose damn near everything, fighting for everything, to have someone just dismissively say, nothing to see here. Go about your business. And then to add insult to injury for them to come back and be like, and we suing you for our fucking legal fees. When you probably had an insurance company paying for them. Probably, I don't know. She hired her own separate lawyer. Everybody's talking about how they permanently defeated my case all over the place. And I look like I have frivolously filed a litigation against a company worth billions of dollars and stayed in it for 4 years. Because I want some clout and some attention and somehow to disturb, their luxurious life over here, living off of something I created and pitched to the president and CEO of their company, who just happens to be involved in the same show. And I'm supposed to just shoot, fly, go away and not have an opinion about it? Thank you, Funky Deneva. Thank you, anyone who has gone to WIRFTV.com. Because listen, here's the thing. Y'all want me to stop talking about this shit? Tell them to stop airing it. Because every time I have to see something I created, a character I created, thriving and basking, and then add insult to injury, Nico from Detroit. You know where the casino shit came from, brother. Man. You know those little clubs downtown. Baker's, Burt's, that were at risk when the casinos came. You're from that place. You know, you're familiar with me. Probably came to see, did you come see Soul Kids Cabaret when we had it happen in Detroit? I mean, I'm not dragging you into this because the creator is Katori Hall. It's her bag. But it is even more insulting to know that tonight, executive produced by someone from my hometown, is a docuseries about how this whole thing, And if it's so docuseries, why is one of the people that you're using in one of the episodes an actor from the show? Who's supposed to be the real life little murderer of what it was based on? Man, y'all keep putting Band-Aids on bullshit. And I'm so glad Funky Deneva gave me the opportunity to share my story. And I had no idea that this was going to air the same night that this Down in the Valley shit is going to air. I have to get this off my chest. Sorry, guys. It's good for my mental health per my therapist. But this thing is going to air, and I had the opportunity to share my truth with Funky Deneva in detail. And again, there is no nice way to put it. This has been the worst financially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And when you put it on top of all the grief that I've had to process from Maxie to my mother, to my father 90 days later, to just not even really healing from the R&B diva shit. I thank God that he has truly kept me mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally sound. I thank God every single day for my husband, for my family, for those of you who listen to these rants, in spite of me being shadow banned. I thank God for those opportunities because, baby, when I say I want to tear some shit up, what human being for 4 years sits back and watches something they created just keep making money and keep growing and here's an award, and people sauntering across the stage accepting awards for a story that I created and pitched to the network that put that story out. And you're not telling me it's not mine because I don't own the copyright to Soul Kids Cabaret 15 years before you copyrighted yours. You're not saying it's not mine because these things are nothing alike. You're saying well, that is what you're saying. You're saying that it's not mine because these things are nothing alike. And when you look at 57 plus comparisons, not 1, not 2, not 5, not 10, not 20, not 30, not 40, but 50, even more, I'm sure. Side by side comparisons down to the colors and the staging and the plot. And this is something I wrote by myself with the help of nobody except inspiration from experiences in life and people I may have met and whatever. I wrote this by myself. I'm so proud of it. I still have the emails from sending it to my friends, and I'm like, no, this shit is really good, right? And I created a character that nobody had ever seen, just like Uncle Clifford. And his name was Auntie Burlesque. And the CEO of Lionsgate said, what's his name again? Tata. Oh, I love that name. Doesn't deny meeting me. No, I'm sorry. Let me use the legal. They're not challenging the issue of access. They're not saying anything about whether or not, that at least deserves a fair trial. I'm not saying I win for sure. I'm not saying it's a shoo-in. I know it's a whole lot of stuff that has to go into that in order for this to really be successful. But it's just heartbreaking to me, because if my case with 57 comparisons and the fact that nobody's denying that I went and dropped my script off, and nobody's denying it, it's about a casino and it's about dancers and an LGBTQIA owner of a traditionally male-oriented club. We've never seen that really happen. And just the coincidence of me sitting across from you, leaving you with all those materials. The fact that it was already on DVD in 2010, and Katori didn't document or copyright her story until 2017, 2018. That, the only reason this case has not been as successful for me as I would have liked is because I didn't have the financial resources that I needed to uncover a whole lot more than I was able to uncover. You ask for one thing, it's $50,000. You ask for them to go and dig into this and look into that, it's $45,000. You ask for mediation, it's $40,000. That's how it really works. So you have to pick and choose how you defend yourself. That system does not work for Black people. It didn't work for Eric Monty. It did not work for Sophia Stewart. It did not work for the countless other people who have had to quietly settle while they sit back and watch non-Black people and their families live off the fat of the land. Because we don't have the financial. Y'all ask about artists and why artists and creatives don't fight for more in the streaming space and all. We can't afford. Imagine that, honey. Imagine me being in a P-Valley case and in a case trying to find out about my streaming royalties over there with no money. And nobody who really cares or gives enough to do it without getting a check on the contingency. There are people who do, but then you need to make sure that those people can compete with the people who do not. It is not a level playing field, and it's horrible. So when we start voting, back to the voting, this all leads back to the voting, we start to have the opportunity to make sure that there are people in the judicial system, locally and in other areas, that understand the wealth gap and understand that people don't stand a chance against corporations with billions of dollars, no matter how much truth they may be telling. That understand that your cousin has been in jail for 5 years because she can't post bail for a shoplifting conviction. This is the shit Black people need to understand. And it ain't about me being rich and famous, because I don't need to be rich or famous. I need to be comfortable, have a place to live, and have the opportunity to pay for my grandson to go to college and start the businesses that I want to start and continue to make great films and projects and not have to worry about, I can't invest in this film, or I can't invest in this Brownstone album, or I can't invest in that because I had to go give somebody $50,000. Excuse me, I keep cursing, forgive me. Because I got to go give somebody this amount of money so that I could fight for something that I've been fighting for 4 years. While I sit back tonight, and I'm going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. I have to watch it. Because I'm sure that this is the preemptive strike to, see, this is why it was original creation. Because that's what they want to prove, that it was something that was originally created. So maybe this is their opportunity. Again, they're a big streaming platform. They going to have y'all geeked up. They going to have y'all watching with your popcorn and geeked up about whatever. And none of you watching that will ever really understand what it feels like to be the person who created it, watching that shit. If you started a chocolate business and you went in and you pitched a chocolate bar to M&M Mars, and you gave them all of the ingredients and the recipe and this and that and the third, and you had an Indian, and your lawyer set it up, and you looked up and you saw your chocolate bar commercials, and it's the biggest chocolate bar in the country, you're not going to fight? You're not going to ask questions? You're not going to at least feel like you deserve a jury? And because you can't afford to fight a corporation, I mean, for God's sakes, the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America is one of the investors in Lionsgate. I know what I'm up against. Let me sip. It just pissed me off when I thought about it, and that's why they came off real, like, neck rolling and just a lot. So I say all this to say, I hope that our community and people in our community that have the power to spread the good word and have the power to really, the power is in the people, period. The power is in the people. Y'all are going to stream and watch and have your popcorn and make the people who own P-Valley very wealthy. Subscribing and subscriptions, and they're going to become very wealthy. When I go and I look on IMDb at the producers and the showrunners and the writers and the people who are in control of that show, I see very few who look like us. I see one taking the credit who don't even look like she wanted it. I ain't seen her promote this new show she allegedly co-executive producing with Nico one good time. But I see Nico on Tamron Hall talking about it and how it's Emmy worthy and Grammy worthy and Peabody Award worthy. And never one time does she or Deadline or Hollywood Reporter or any of those other corporate ran entities ask the question, how do you explain the similarities if that isn't what happened? Because your eyes are not deceiving you. Same way your eyes weren't deceiving you at the debate. When you look at them comparisons, it does not deceive you. You see what you see. And no matter how you try to splice it up and change it and flip it and flap it up, flip it, rub it down, oh no, it's the same. And when you pair the similarities with the fact that I came and I gave them the scripts and the deep, when I could see if there were just similarities and there was no like exchange of stuff, right? This is a situation where you have something that you did have in your possession that is similar. And the respectful thing to do is to wrap it up and to be respectful enough to acknowledge that it was a mistake. And you ain't even got to say it. Just run it, and I'll accept it as an apology for the devastating, debilitating, terrible, destructive shit that I've had to endure for the last 4 years. Fighting not just for my intellectual property, but to prove that Tyler Perry's not a fluke. Byron Allen is not a fluke. We deserve the opportunity to feed our families for generations the same way you are able to feed your families for generations off of the things that we create. We deserve that. Corporations, just change directions. It's better to be in business in a positive way with the actual people who create this shit than to go hire somebody to be your blackface so you can control it. It's not going to work. Just like R&B Divas didn't work when they tried to do it over there. Just like, y'all don't even know this, but the same thing, something similar happened with Living Single and every other show, Blackish and other shows that y'all see. It happens every single day. But people be like, okay, yeah, I'll take this $2. Okay, I'm good. But now we have grown to understand, thankfully because of Tyler, that if we maintain ownership, at least a small percentage of ownership of the intellectual properties that we create, then it does provide for opportunities for us to feed our children. It does provide for opportunities for us to be able to get the mental health help that we need, and the physical, like the wealth gap creates poverty is the number one issue in our community. Poverty. Being robbed of our opportunities. Every generation has been robbed either of real estate, intellectual properties, businesses, land. They just be coming in taking our shit. And at some point you have got to fight. You got to stand there and fight. And trust me, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I am furious. And I'm a watch down in the valley, proud of the thing that I created, and hoping and praying that the appeals court sees that this does deserve to go before a jury of 12 people, and praying that 7 of those people look at those 57 comparisons and the fact that they are not denying that they had access to my script, and they say, no, yeah, you need to go on ahead and take care of this. Right? Because I look out for people. I don't care what you saw on R&B Divas. Please go watch the Funky Deneva interview. It's the most clear 3-part explanation of me and R&B Divas in P-Valley that you're going to get. Right? Outside of getting it here where I go into far more details, whatever. But it's just really frustrating to watch people gang up on you when you're telling the truth. But what I do realize is that happened to Jesus. So I do understand it happened to King. It happens, when you assume a role of leadership, and I'm not saying that I'm just this leader and shit, but when you are someone who is brave enough to speak truth to power, and it's not always like I'm like, da, 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 da. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I just do not want to fight these people today. Da, 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 da. Yeah, right? You have to. You got to do it while you're scared. You got to do it while you're broke. You got to do it while you're mad. You got to do it while you just have to. And I hope that by me being vulnerable and honest and transparent about this journey and the hell that I'm going through, that it either discourages people from doing frivolous lawsuits or encourages people who have legitimate claims, right? Because this is a legitimate claim with merit if ever there was one. And if my case, with all the facts and all the truth and all the access they had to my stuff, if my case doesn't have an opportunity to go before a court, it's a wrap. Especially with this AI. All they gonna do is tell AI to write them a story just like this one, and you're gonna look up and your whole story gonna be on somewhere. And when I talk about how much it costs to litigate, I'm not saying that to discourage y'all, right? And the reality is, this judge has ordered. There is another case. There are several cases of copyright in this court, but there is a case where one of my defendants went before this judge before, and two women, claimed pretty much the same thing that I claimed, which is, they got somebody to rewrite. I didn't say that. That's what they said. Whatever. But long story short, she lost for the same reason. They lost. And then the judge required them to pay back like $850-something thousand in legal fees. So these people know, things run, in their favor a lot of times in these courts. So I'm just praying that the appeals court allows me to have my day, which we have. We do. I don't know what they don't tell you all that stuff till the very last minute, but I do know that we have been selected for oral hearing, which means that my lawyers get to go before 3 judges and argue our case. And those 3 judges get to look at it and see if they felt like, there was an error and that this should go to the trial court. and they have remanded, which means sent it back to trial court, a few cases that are just like mine. The Roblox, was it I don't know, the Agami case with the choreographer. We had the same judge. This guy had a video. He dismissed it on summary judgment, took it to appeals court. Appeals court reversed it. He settled his case, and that's that. The Pirates of the Caribbean case, I actually had a wonderful conversation with the attorney who won that case for the two writers of the Pirates of the Caribbean. They went to district court. District court dismissed it, saying it wasn't similar enough, and Faire, whatever that means. And they remanded that case back to trial court. So I'm just praying that God blesses me with the opportunity to go before a panel of judges who look at this and say, hey, there are enough similarities here for her to go to trial. That's all I want. But the fact that I get to do that, and here's the drum roll, y'all can actually see it, because I had no idea until I started like researching the appeals court and doing my homework, because I have to, because I'm going through appeals court. But all of the appeals hearings are on YouTube, and they just sit there. So if the only thing that comes out of this is me having the opportunity to argue my case to 3 judges and them seeing the facts and the merit of my case, and not just them seeing it, but you all having the ability to see it. So it's always there. Other writers and creatives having the opportunity to look and see the things that I did that were right, the things that I've done that could have been better, you know, just having the opportunity to actually see those things and watch those things. It's worth it to me, because sometimes it's not even about winning a whole bunch of money. Sometimes it's about winning the hearts and the minds of the people. And I truly believe that Funky Deneva's interview has given me a real opportunity, because he really was on some like, I ain't supporting your ass, that's some bullshit, you always cause some drama, blah, blah. He really genuinely was like in that space of like, what are you doing now? What's up now? So I like being challenged by people. I want to be challenged by their lawyers. I want to be challenged by the jury. I want people to ask me questions that I can answer truthfully. I deserve that. So y'all can help me by sharing my story. Y'all can help me by sharing my journey. Y'all can help me. What's going on there? Y'all can help me by sharing my journey. Y'all can help me by getting the word out. Again, I was good until I discovered last night that P-Valley's coming out tonight, or Down in the Valley's coming out tonight. And I'm human. And I just had to vent. And I feel much better now that I have. Because imagine how a person would feel. Imagine how you would feel. And not because I haven't won, because I haven't even been given the opportunity to have a fair fight. And now I do. So grateful to that. I'm going to get off, and I'm grateful to y'all for listening to my feelings and my thoughts and my truth. And karma's a bitch. So spread the word on the Funky Deneva interview. Spread it far and wide. Then Instagram ain't gonna let y'all spread this live, because they just don't. Oh, you've asked me this question a couple times. I'm an up-and-coming actress, black actress. Do you have any advice for me beginning in this industry? The industry is so different now. Create your own stuff. Get on Instagram. Be like Country Wayne and his amazing group of actors and actresses. Create skits. Get together with other actors. Show people what you're working for. Tag me. Tag other people. Ask people to repost. Like, there's a young actress on Instagram. She's so talented. She's a comedian, and I hope Will Smith does a movie with her. But these days, y'all got the best of the best. You have an opportunity to just put it on Instagram, put it on social media, tag your favorite people. It goes viral. Your whole life changes. Nobody is having the traditional actor thing. And follow Twinkie Burr, who's a wonderful casting director. Follow all the dope-ass casting directors. Pierre. There's a bunch of people out there. If you're an actor, go for it. Hustle. Y'all know if y'all watch that Funky Deneva interview with me, you know I be hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Somebody said, have you talked to Katori? Outside of the deposition, no. Oh, I didn't even talk to her in the deposition. I heard her talk in the deposition. So no, I haven't talked to Katori. I have not. And I'm sure her lawyers have probably advised her, as mine have advised me, not to. Although, honestly, I wish that we could just sit down and be like, okay, so look, if the tables were turned, what would you do? Because that's really all you got to do. Is just say like, okay, so say I'm you and you me. Would you look at my story and be like, well, hold on. Was there ever a point, if I had a question for her, it would be, was there ever a time when you looked and you was like, well, damn, that is kind of the same. Well, that, because you're a writer. We're writers. We know. Was there ever a moment where you felt like, you know, maybe you got caught up in something? I don't know. But I can't ask her those questions. It wouldn't be legal. Not at this point. Yeah, so just, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and fight for what you believe in, right? Because, let me see. Let me get some more of these questions real quick. Because y'all been in here chilling with me for a minute. There was one I wanted to. We don't stick together. The lack of community is an issue. That is the biggest issue in our community. We do not stick together. We let loyalty and opportunity control our loyalty, and it's just the worst thing ever. And y'all need to watch part 2 of that part 2 of that interview. You want more of this stuff? Y'all need to watch part 2 of R&B Divas, and that'll explain a lot about loyalty. They never let expect black folks to fight. Keep your foot on their necks. A lot of people watch Dineva's platform. That's why I'm so grateful. That is why I'm so grateful. So turn out the haters. It's time for us to move up like the Jeffersons. Absolutely. Shout out to all my Sigma Gamma Rho sorors. I will see y'all at Dule. I'm so excited about that. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for understanding that a part of my heart was ripped out when I discovered that my intellectual property was infringed upon. And while it becomes redundant and sometimes annoying to hear people talk about the same thing over and over, what I consider is that every time I talk about it, someone new, even if it's only one person, gets an understanding of my story. And hopefully people start to share this far and wide, because I am telling the truth. And there is no feeling like telling the truth about something and people not believing you until they see you getting dragged down the hallway and kicked in the chest. A la Cassie or another person. When black women speak up about our experiences and the things that happen to us, please just, even if you don't believe us, support us and share our stories so that other people can look at them and come up with their own conclusion. Don't hoard the truth, or don't prevent people from having access to hear somebody's story. The algorithm, the OODA, the owners of the algorithm already do that enough. Y'all, one day these people, one day they're going to just click my Instagram off, I'm sure, because they got a whole lot of power and they probably feel like I just be, saying too much to push the people forward, and maybe that's not what they want to hear. And I hope you guys go to WIRFTV.com, because that's where we'll be. But keep sharing. Please share. Please share. Go look at the Funky Deneva interview. Share that. Share this live. I'm going to put this live on my YouTube. Share it. I'm speaking from my heart because I love myself and I love y'all. And there's too much fake shit out here. Too many fake people out here, and you see this entertainment industry falling apart at the seams, and it's because everybody wants to pretend like everybody's rich, fabulous, happy, and don't have a care or worry in the world, and not enough of us are being transparent and real and authentic and sharing the truth about how toxic and destructive this motherfucking industry is. I keep cussing. Let me get off of here because I'm really trying to do better about that. Okay, so love and appreciate you guys. Please share. Go to hold on, I got to do this real quick because y'all probably like, what is she talking about? And it's not just, hold on, for real, what we got over there is not just about this case. So I'm just going to pin it so you guys can see it. It's not just about this case. You can find the details of this case there, but there's a lot of great content and a lot of great stories. And it hopefully will inspire some of y'all to not believe everything that you see or read, because people have enough money to push their lies out in front of the truth. Actions speak louder than words. Sometimes money speaks louder than the truth. That's it. So guys, support by going to WIRFTV.com, signing up, and go to Brownstone Official, follow us on the road, and watch Down in the Valley tonight. More content. Thank you, Sora. Yes, absolutely. See, listen, we actually do have a lot of new, fresh, dope content coming to WIRFTV, and I know that I don't talk about it enough. So thank you, Sora, for reminding me. Right? So I love you guys. I'm going to go down here and watch the Suge Knight interview, and go watch Funky Deneva's interview. And believe Black women when we say that something is happening in our lives that is impacting our community. And this case against P Valley will absolutely impact our community, either positively or negatively. Positively is what we're claiming. All right. Love you guys. Peace.